Nope.
Yep. No. Silence until then.
Nope. No. Maybe. Kind of. Sort of.
Are we live now?
All right.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to this Friday's Giga Rambles. I'm John.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Joseph.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are here on this Friday of GenCon 2017. So there's a lot going on in the tabletop community. Lots of new things being unveiled for pretty much every game out there. It's a big tabletop expo, so this is an exciting part of the year for all of us.
We have employees going.
Yeah. We have employees going. We have customers or patrons, I guess. Patrons is a much nicer way of saying it, who are going and taking part in all the festivities and feeding us a lot of information from there. So we have a lot to cover, and we'll do our best to fit everything in an hour. And maybe we'll talk fast and finish early. Yeah. Hopefully not, though.
Talking fast is not my problem.
Yeah. So first thing we want to kind of cover is new things that are coming out that we are taking pre-orders for, that are especially being talked about with GenCon going on. We'll go to events coming up at the store, and then there's a lot of stuff coming out for Age of Sigmar with the new Journal's Handbook, and so we'll be going over that really soon. So to start it off with the pre-orders and all that, Twilight Imperium was announced with a new edition coming out later this year.
4th edition.
Yeah, 4th edition, and it's really exciting. So we are now taking pre-orders for it, and also today Fantasy Flight has put up the quick start rules for the new edition on Twilight Imperium. So if you guys are already hyped about it, you can go check out the rules for it.
Yeah, see what's changed.
Yeah, see what's changed, see what's new and all that. But we are taking pre-orders. We're limited to the amount of copies we're getting, and we only have about 20 of the hardback rulebook and art prints available for pre-orders. So the first 20 people who put those pre-orders in will be guaranteed those. So definitely, if there's something you're interested in, go ahead and put it in today.
Yeah. There's a lot of times I played the previous Twilight Imperiums. I think the 2nd edition is what I played last.
Yeah.
God, it was like we literally had to leave the game parked on the table and come back to it another day.
So to me, Twilight Imperium is the quintessential like hobby store game.
Yeah.
Pretty much wherever I've gone. Like I've been all over the Southeast, starting in Texas, moving over this way. But every hobby store I've gone to, Twilight Imperium has always been the game that stuck out to me. Like it's always on the shelf. People always talk about it and always have good experiences with it. So it's something that's exciting to me to see get redone and have a new edition for it.
Yeah, well, it is definitely like when you think of board game, it's like it is the epic of board game.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 hours. Then sometimes it could be playing the game, and that's like you have to devote an entire day to it. You have game nights where you could have like maybe play Dominion or Carcassonne or something small like Storms, but Twilight Imperium you have to just it's an event.
So and that's one of the cool things about it. Like so to me, it's not quite investing yourself into a like RPG session where you're like, okay, well we know we're gonna have to do like multiple sessions over the next couple of months, and it's not just a one-off like night thing, like it's like oh we're not just going to spend 45 minutes playing this game. It's kind of that like it's an investment, and it's not going as deep into a campaign or doing something as short as that.
It's like a one shot.
So if you guys have that group that like likes to meet up and play like a long game or get really
spend
involved,
the day together.
Exactly.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, it was great. One of the times we played it, I mean, basically factions were developed, either intentional or not intentional. Someone attacking someone else. But when we make a break for food, those people kind of lingered together and devised little plots against each other. It was great. So me and my friend Kyle would be talking about how we're going to deal with Jason. So it was just
it is a 4X game. Expand, exploit, exterminate.
Yeah. So
we still got a bunch.
That's something that we might actually do in the store. We might do a live broadcast over a couple of weeks of the staff trying to play Twilight Imperium. So if that's something that interests you guys, let us know. That's something that I'm personally down for, and I'm sure these two.
We take Will out first.
I'm gonna build a space wall around my.
Yeah.
I'd have someone else pay for it.
Just Joe sectioned off by himself.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Twilight Imperium's up for pre-order. So please let us know if it's something you want. We want to make sure to get everyone what they want for it. We don't want to have anyone left out. And speaking of that, Massive Darkness came in this week, which was a cool mini or not game. I think we're out of all the base games because it's been so popular. So Massive Darkness is like an RPG-esque board game. So like, you know, you have character classes and characters to develop and you fight monsters and such. They have this awesome Reptisaurian box of bad guys, which are lizardmen dinosaurs, which has a soft spot in my heart, for sure. But yeah, so that came out. We got all of our Kickstarter copies in, and they were gone immediately. And so that's one of the important things about putting pre-orders in, is to make sure that you guys get what you want from us. Another cool mini or not game that's up for pre-order right now, and a lot of people are really excited about, is the Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh yeah. They've been playtesting it here in the store. So if you don't know Michael Schnall already, try to find him on Facebook, because he usually posts when he needs people to help playtest things. So if you'd like to see what Song of Fire Ice is before, just look for Michael Schnall.
So So it's beta testing.
Yeah, it's beta testing right now, as well as being up for pre-order. So they're doing the final revisions to it. So it's getting very close to final rules, but they need to have people in there to kind of tweak the last bits and see if they can find anything that doesn't quite work out, especially with like a new set of eyes. But the game, you know, we keep saying the name, but it is Game of Thrones, the miniature game. It is a rank and file game in which you play one of the factions from Game of Thrones.
Expect your character to die. No.
Yeah. Expect all the characters to die. Yeah, so it's one of those things where if you like that setting and you like rank and file miniature games, it is a slam dunk to pick up. They started posting up the miniatures at GenCon, so it's a good thing to kind of check out. They look gorgeous. It's all based off of the book, so they're taking a departure. They're not doing like one-for-ones from like the HBO show. It's going off of the book art and then the artist's interpretations of how these characters looked from the book. So it should be a little bit more accurate to the book than necessarily to the show.
For those that don't like HBO's Divergence.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. But if you guys are a fan of the series, book or show, it's going to be great. Once again, we're limited on pre-orders that we can take for it. All you have to do is put a deposit down on it, and you'll be set for when it releases, and we'll get it to you super quick.
We even have a tape that has your name ingrained with marker.
Yeah.
That comes free.
Yeah, that's
free service.
That.
And it, you know, if you guys are super nice, I'll even put a little illustration on it.
Ooh, nice.
So that's a lot of the new stuff that's up for pre-order. I want to take a moment and talk about the events that are going on in the store, things that are coming up. First tonight is going to be the release of the new Force of Will intro decks. If you guys haven't checked out Force of Will, it's like Magic and Hearthstone had a baby together. If you guys are familiar with either of those card games, digital and traditional, it's just a combination of those. It's easy to get into. The art is very anime inspired. It's a Japanese company that's putting it together. The new decks are all centered around a new theme and a new mechanic. So it's a good time to get in, because once again, all this stuff is very new, and people have to kind of like learn with it as well. So
I also heard it brought a lot of balance.
Yeah, so it's another thing that you know, addresses some of the balance issues in the game, makes things more or less an equal playing field at the start. So it's a good time to get into it. Then tomorrow is the Grimkin release event. Grimkin is the new faction for War Machine and Hordes. It is Grimm's Fairy Tale themed army. Me and Mark have both been playing it, painting it, doing all that sort of stuff. The models are gorgeous. This is for War Machine and Hordes, by the way. But tomorrow is the release event, so they came out late July. The models keep coming out, so the release event kind of comes halfway in the release cycle. And basically, there's a new scenario that you guys can find on the Privateer Press website, or you can just kind of come in and we'll have the sheets printed out for you. So it's a fun experience to play. You don't need that much knowledge to it. You can play any point size you want. You can play it as a Journeyman League game. Rob Ashwell will be running it. So that'll be a lot of fun, and we should have a lot of people up here for it. It's a fun day.
The Journeyman so far has been really fun for me. I've been trying to learn the Grimkin, but I make a lot of mistakes. For example, the child allows you to charge for free if your war beasts were hurt, and she has the ability to hurt your war beasts, and I just sat there like a fool doing it the regular old-fashioned way. So I still got to figure out what I'm doing with them. But it is fun to try to learn a new faction. I've been having a great time playing Grimpin. Like, I've had to switch casters, really, because I overestimated some abilities and misunderstood others. But, yeah, it's a learning experience. People have been very understanding.
I mean, that's the point of a journeyman league, right? You know, is to figure things out, especially to start a new faction, starting at small points and moving up. It's a good way to get into the game, especially if you're new or you wanted to do something new. I mean, me and Mark are both veterans, and taking on
it's for me.
Taking on a new faction gives you a lot of new mechanics and rules and interactions to learn. So it's one of those things. If you guys are interested in playing War Machine and Hordes, or want to get back into it, we have a couple of new guys who, and I say new loosely because they've played before and they're finally getting back into it after years of a hiatus. So they're rusty and getting the what is it? The cobwebs out, I think is the phrase.
Dusting off the models.
Dust off the models.
Get the rust off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing to check out. Our community is growing day by day. We're getting more and more people. With that, we have a tournament coming up mid-September for the Journeyman League. So it's one of those things, even if you haven't participated in the Journeyman League, you can definitely come to the tournament to take part in it. So check it out, so from there, we're going to start talking about the new Age of Sigmar release going up for pre-order this weekend, General's Handbook 2. I'll let Mark kind of start talking about that.
So the General's Handbook 2 for me has been a long-awaited successor to the General's Handbook 1. So as some of you might know, when the game first came out, there was no points, and people just dirtled about a lot of times just wondering what was a fair match, because they kind of left that to you. For those of you who played the previous incarnation of Warhammer Fantasy, you know that, like 40K in its previous incarnations, also had an argument phase. And sadly, without the General's Handbook 1, you were stuck in the argument phase before the game even began at what is a fair game. But they decided to just answer that question for you, which was a great success. Age of Sigmar became a pretty popular game here. And so with the announcement of the General's Handbook 2, I'm hoping it will pick up again, because a lot of people have been waiting for those rules changes. I believe they're readapting the rules of 3 to include another.
They're adding in a couple of additional rules to the game.
And so, but with that though, there's just basically points changes and adaptations of rules. They're adding the faction allegiance bonuses
to
everything.
Yes, to everything. So if your faction didn't have an allegiance ability before, you'll now have one. Another big plus that they're adding in is the allies.
So for those of you who like your army but wish you could have Stormcasters because they're so cool, congratulations. You can add Stormcast to anything that is order.
Or you know, if you're playing Chaos, you can add in that Gorgon or Giant all that sort of stuff. So they broke it down for every point level. You'll get a certain amount of points that you can allocate to allies without breaking your allegiance ability.
But one thing I would have to say is Iron Jaws, I was kind of bottlenecked into the Destruction allegiance ability, which allowed me to, if I'm within 6 inches of a hero, roll for a unit and see how many extra inches they get to move before they even charge. Like, they can easily charge after this. The issue is that I always had to take that, or I was pretty much screwed. I mean, it was the only option I had, but I was worried that with the speed my Iron Jaws had, that if they weren't riding boars, what can they make to really replace this? This is an extremely important ability. And I believe they've done a great job.
So the new Iron Jaw Allegiance ability is the fact that if you kill a unit with your Iron Jaws, a unit can immediately activate to start attacking again. So you can basically daisy chain all of your combats at once, which is pretty exciting. Another thing with the allies that goes to the Iron Jaws as well is, since the Iron Jaws get brutes as troops, as long as they're in their allegiance, being able to take a unit of goblins or like that giant we were talking about before won't break that allegiance. So you get to keep those guys as troops.
Which is very important, because before I actually bought a giant. And I was going to paint it up like it was in Iron Jaw armor, but I would have to discuss with my opponent and ask if it was okay if I brought this, because technically it would break the allegiance.
So now you don't have to worry about that.
Now I don't have to worry.
Which is pretty cool. So
then we have the
Season of War. I'm more well versed in this. Season of War Firestorm is an expansion that's coming out, which is pretty exciting. We don't know exactly how it's going to be released, but we know it's in the same vein as like Realm Gate Wars and things like that, where it's going to be a new map-based campaign that you and your friends can run with each other. It's not going to be a global campaign like Fate of Connor that's going on. It's going to be a smaller, like probably
you do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I would probably say 6 to 10 people is probably what it's going to be aimed about. It all takes place in the Realm of Fire. There's going to be a map included with it. They say that you can use like dry erase on it and like completely
perfect.
Wipe it off or put stickers on, things like that. So that's coming out soon. They haven't given us a tentative release date or not, but with that release, they're coming out with 3 new army boxes, which should be a good value to get yourself started in the game.
And it goes with the theme of allies.
Right. So the 3 of them are going to be, they're all named after the great cities. So basically it's great cities of order. So people that are kind of these races that have mixed together and living in the same city to defend it against invaders like chaos or destruction.
Yeah. And for those of you wondering, what really constitutes order in this game? I basically say if you want to live in a city, you're order.
Yeah. if you want to live, if you want to live in a city and not do bad things.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you still do bad things. But so. If you want to live in the city and you're not gonna burn it down tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then you're order.
Right. And so all 3 of these boxes, they'll focus on the free guilds, which are humans.
Yes. No, I've been waiting since the end of Warhammer Fantasy for essentially my Empire models to become useful again. Because no matter what I do, I'm usually I want to play humans. I like humans. I know they're the average Joe Schmo guys, but I really want to see them succeed. And so I've been really waiting for them to look at just basic plain humans again, not the chaos worshipping, empowered by the gods people. I just want guy with like a handgun trying to make it through the world. Mad Max it.
Yeah, I mean, so
Just
in that
a lovely day.
Yeah, no. In that theme, it's always kind of cool to see humans take center stage because I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I'm a human. I live every day as a human. So I like taking my time being something weird or supernatural or whatever to get a different experience.
That's always fun.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the free cities focuses on the Free Guild, which is the regular humans collective. Then there's going to be one that's focusing on the Dark Elves. Dark Elves.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what name they have in the Age of Sigmar setting right now.
Pirates of Dark Water.
Yeah. I know that box set has like a Hydra and like a bunch of really cool Dark Elf models that will be nice to see on the tabletop.
Yeah.
And then the final one focuses on the dispossessed faction of the dwarves, which are
what you remember from Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, the traditional dwarves, the non-skyfaring, the non-fire-fueled dwarves. These are the expert craftsmen, miners style of dwarves. So these box sets will all be up for pre-order soon with us. We'll let you guys know if y'all are interested in it. There'll be a great deal. Good way to get into Age of Sigmar, especially play a faction. If you're a staunch Dark Elf player, this box will definitely do you right.
Yeah.
Same with dwarves and all that, because some people don't like their dwarves and plains, which blows my mind, because those models are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so with that,
Slaanesh?
So Slaanesh actually just had the Insider come out right before this. So Slaanesh has, a home in a lot of people's hearts as their favorite chaos faction. Slaanesh is the god of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, just excess.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's the party hard god, and in the Age of Sigmar setting, Slaanesh has disappeared, but now there's rules for the factions that are left of Slaanesh, and so since Papa/Mama Slaanesh has left,
three factions have sprung up.
3 factions have sprung up because there's people who want to handle it different ways. There's the Pretenders, which are a cult of Slaanesh that want to put a new champion on the throne. So they think that they can find someone powerful enough, they send them on the throne of Slaanesh, they'll be the new god.
Yeah.
Then there's the Seekers, which is the cult who believe that the right thing to do is find Slaanesh and bring them back. And then there's finally the invaders.
Yeah, the ones I think is crazy.
The invaders are
status quo Slaanesh.
Yeah, status quo Slaanesh. They're like, yeah, sure, Slaanesh is missing, but the one thing we can't stop doing is carrying on as normal.
Yeah.
So they want to basically keep raiding and promoting Slaanesh regardless of who's on the throne.
Yeah.
Or not on the throne.
So I'd say you have like two factions that are butting heads, and the invaders are just whatever happens. We're gonna do what we do.
Exactly.
If Slaanesh is the god of rock, roll, and drugs, I wonder if he comes back on a cloud playing the guitar.
So you joke about that, but in the 40K setting, there's been so many mods and things like that of the Slaanesh Space Marines with like guitars and things like that, and amps on the backs because they use sonic weaponry.
Yeah.
So.
It's like that guy from Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
The Doofwagon.
Yeah, the guy
exactly.
in the Doofwagon.
Yeah.
I would love to see that conversion, either in 40K or.
There's been an Orc one.
Yeah, I've seen the Orc one, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see a Slaanesh one because I feel like Slaanesh would also be a good fit for it.
I mean, the Chaos Cherry would be.
Yeah.
Threshers.
Oh yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah, so there's an Exalted Chariot of Slaanesh, where there's a big space with a guy, enough room for a guy with a guitar shooting flames out of it.
Yep.
Of course, there's a chariot.
And it's very metal because all the wheels are just blades.
Yeah. So it's definitely brutal and cool. That's. With Slaanesh, so Slaanesh is split into 3 different factions. So Slaanesh doesn't have just one allegiance ability; it has 3 for you to choose from. So depending on how you want to play the game, you can go from there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I know Slaanesh people were waiting for a long time because all the other Chaos factions got at least something. Now your wait has been paid in full.
Looking at you, Bobby.
Plus some. So it's really cool. And with that, Skaven also started getting allegiance abilities for the different clans, which is well deserved because the rat people of the fantasy setting have 4 distinct tribes to them.
But they started with just Clan Pestilence.
They
didn't really venture out from there.
Yeah, so there's 2 new allegiance traits for those clans, which is pretty cool. And then from there, the last bit of Age of Sigmar news is they started putting up teaser trailers for new Nurgle, which will probably come following the Death Guard releases that we've started seeing previews for already. But the one thing that we were able to identify from there is Nurgle Snail Riders are coming out. So these are like jovial plague demons sitting on top of giant snails.
I really want to joke that they're Speed 2 mounts.
Wonderful. Or maybe they're going to be like Speed 4, but they can only move every other turn.
Oh that'd be good.
That would be the most boring charge in the history.
If they take any damage, they just house up and can't move for a turn.
Exactly. And if you get salty during your game, they just die.
Oh, that'd be perfect. It's just any salt detected, they just kill your snails.
There should be a big Age of Sigmar release following Death Guard. It will probably focus on Nurgle and Nurgle demons, and with all those new Nurgle demons, they'll probably be cross-compatible with the 40K stuff.
Which is it's also great to think that if they're going to touch upon the Beastmen faction as well.
Yeah.
And so Beastmen, as you've seen maybe with the Zangors for the Tzeentch faction, those are actually Beastmen. But being able to add Beastmen to any army, they're just cheap troops. They basically take on the characteristics of whatever god they worship.
Yep.
Because they're the ones that really turn them into beasts to begin with.
Yeah.
It'll be great to see that the Beastmen are updated. They can be an additional ally to any Chaos army. So I really like where this flavor is going for Ages.
Now with the beast, does the player get to choose what is it? Criteria, not criteria, but
what mark they have is usually
Yeah. So Zangors are for Tzeentch. He turns them into birds, like bird beasts.
Okay.
Pestigors are for Nurgle.
Yeah, and so they're basically plague-ridden beast monsters. Corngors, which
is that really what they're called?
Pestigors?
No, Corngors.
Yeah, they're called Corngors. Corn dogs. So Corngors basically get closer to like your traditional like Minotaur-looking type guys. And then finally there's Slangors, which are the Slaanesh ones. And I haven't seen a Slangor in a good long time. It's been a while.
They have like the giant
So basically they look more like anteaters kind of thing. So they'll have like long extended faces, like dripping maws with tentacles and things like that. So it's one of those things which is it'll be pretty cool to see.
But conversions would be good if you try to get that Slaanesh thing going.
Exactly. Yeah. So the nice thing is, I think Games Workshop is learning that Slaanesh is very popular amongst its audience and all that. Yeah. So hopefully we'll start seeing more and more, because I know we have several people that are devoted to Slaanesh, and hopefully it'll keep going with all of that. So yeah, that covers pretty much all the Age of Sigmar news except for Shadespire, which is being previewed at GenCon right now. It's their new arena combat game. There's several new miniatures and sculpts with it coming out from there.
Female Stormcast.
Yeah, female Stormcast. Yeah. So basically, in the fluff, Stormcast can be taken from any walk of life, any race really. So it doesn't matter who you were in your past life, as long as you were like a good and just fighter, you can become a Stormcast.
Yeah.
So I know David always tells me that apparently there's like some orc Stormcasts running around.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently somewhere in the fluff that it was mentioned that some of the Stormcasts could have been originally orcs.
Huh. I mean, it makes sense. You can't really see under the mask.
Yeah. And they're big burly guys, so it could be possible. But yeah, so I'm glad that they're working in a more diverse like model selection for it, which is great for painters, for people who like exploring different like role-playing options too, because I know Games Workshop is working on several RPGs. I think they're starting with Warhammer 40k first. We started seeing news about that either at the beginning of this week or last week about a new RPG coming out for 40k, which is pretty exciting, because I have gotten a couple requests from patrons and all that about like, hey, is there a 40k RPG? And I was like, well, not one that's supported right now, but Games Workshop's taking the steps to make a new one and have it come out for stores and things like that, hopefully in the near future. So yeah, that's me jammering on about Age of Sigmar. So yeah,
I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, I am too. I'm hoping to run a campaign. With the new Nurgle release, I think there's going to be a global campaign out from Age of Sigmar, similar to Fate of Connor.
Yeah, we got to crush Nurgle.
Yeah.
Keep him from getting too powerful.
And hopefully it won't be like Fate of Connor, where Imperium's just winning left and right.
Well, I mean, you release Primaris Marines and expect this not to happen?
Yeah. Well, I think it was deliberately planned for Marines to do pretty well at the beginning of it. I think once the new Nurgle stuff's coming out, we'll probably start seeing things shift over to a more chaos victory. If Connor lasts that long, I can't remember how many weeks are left. Nurgle's got to come out pretty quick to keep things in line. But yeah, so Fate of Connor has been going on. We're in week 4 now. So it's one of those it's I wouldn't say it's a map-based campaign, but basically each week there's a planet that Chaos and Imperium are fighting for. Xenos races like the Eldar and all that can kind of come in and disrupt whatever faction they choose. So if Imperium is getting too large for its britches, which it is, it is, you can come in as a Xenos player. So like Tau, Eldar, Necrons, Tyranids, Orcs.
Necrons.
Yeah.
Put Guilliman in his place.
Yeah, exactly. Do that. Keep it a little bit more even with.
That's what Eldar tried to do. Right? Just keep the balance of the universe together.
Yeah. So much. I mean, basically, so Eldar basically wants to make it that there's no single threat big enough to take it down.
Yep. Yeah. So for you Tau players out there trying to get that greater good going, you might want to pick on some Marines for a while.
Yeah. So it's going on. Each week there's a new scenario. Rob Bristow has been running it for us. It's been going swimmingly. We've had so many games in for 40k doing this Fate of Connor. So to me, it's nice to see a lot of narrative fun games, people building more fluffy armies for this sort of stuff, which I'm a fan of. I'm working on my Thousand Sons for the next couple weeks, trying to get those guys up and ready and running around, trying to crush some Imperium. So yeah, that's been going on. That is an event that's been taking place and will continue to take place until the end of the league. So if you guys haven't even gotten in a game yet, you still have plenty of time. So support your chosen faction and come in.
Do we have any questions yet?
I think we have a lot of people talking about it. So we have a lot of people. Peter approved our previous pun, which is always appreciated.
Yeah.
John Keenan does say Basilius Call will just make bigger britches for the Imperium.
So he's a true engineer. So usually there's the optimist, the pessimist, and then the engineer. The optimist says the glass is half full, the pessimist says it's half empty, and the engineer just says the glass is twice as big as it should be.
So I like how Cull has moved over to the like Zinch of Imperium, where like
it's like just design something new for it.
Yeah, it's whenever they're in a hard place or whenever they had a setback, Cull's like, aha, I have something for this.
I've been working on this for 10,000 years.
Yeah, it's just like,
just decided to reveal it now.
Yeah. Cull is the crazy professor of the Imperium, so...
Good news, everyone!
Yeah, it's like, I have new Marines!
And he's just like the professor. He sends people on death missions.
Yeah. No, it's... Oh, God. We've never seen under his mask. So he might
Professor
be...
Farnsworth is
he's been
a tech priest.
Yeah. He might be hiding out in the Imperium for this whole time. Peter, make a meme of it. I'm looking at you.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
You make me sad.
It's very true. But yeah, it's been a good time. 40K has grown by leaps and bounds. We have such a good community, lots of great players coming in every week for games.
And the 8th edition is doing well.
Yeah. So
Primaris can finally get into a vehicle.
Oh yeah, and with that thing, I'm not sure if a lot of people have seen, but they released an FAQ earlier this week, and they talked about it. But basically, people were upset at the new Space Marine Codex, where they couldn't use their apothecaries on bikes or things like that. Things that were listed originally in the Index, but not in the Codex. Games Workshop came out and said, it's like, hey, listen, these codexes are for models that you can go up and pick up in a game store, and you don't have to worry about like modding or converting or doing anything like that. But if you currently have a model that was listed in the Index, you can still use the Index for it.
Okay.
So like your twin autocannon dreadnoughts, your apothecary on bikes, all these models are still 100% usable with the Space Marine Codex, and you don't have to worry about it. You just have to follow the rules and the points that are in the Index.
Yeah.
So I think that put a lot of people back at ease. It does say for future releases, basically, Games Workshop is going to keep supporting the models that they currently produce, and start kind of phasing out the models that you have to mod and do all that sort of stuff.
Have they addressed the issue with the Primaris transport not being able to carry characters that aren't Primaris?
Not yet. No. So that is currently a catch. So Primaris transports can only transport Primaris Marines. So my great idea of putting Vulcan and a bunch of aggressors in a repulsor tank can't currently happen. Vulcan's going to have to show up to the battle in a Rhino or a Predator of his, not Predator, Razorback of his own. But it's something that I would expect to see addressed soon. I'm almost positive that each expansion we're going to see, like each narrative expansion for the game, where they focus on just like a small sub-faction of armies fighting out on a planet, you'll probably start seeing Primaris versions of these characters. wouldn't be surprised to see Primaris Vulcan or these guys coming out soon.
Well, just how cool.
Same for Grey Knights.
So can Grey Knights use repulsors?
I don't think so.
I think John's actually referring to the Codex and Index things.
Oh.
Yeah, John, it should work both for Codex Grey Knights and Index. Just double check on the FAQ, but I'm pretty sure it applies to basically all codexes from this point on in 8th. So basically, if it was something that was in the Index but not in the Codex, you can still use the Index for the Codex. Just basically expect them to slowly phase out those rules. And so basically, when someone new is coming in the game and they pick up that Space Marine Codex, they don't have to be like, well, I want an apothecary on a bike, but they don't make those, so I have to figure out how to make it for myself. I have to buy 2 to 3 different model kits or buy a bunch of plastic card or green stuff to make my own thing. So it's a way to keep things accessible for new people, which is definitely a good goal for them. Also limits the need for like third-party stuff, which I think is also a goal for Games Workshop. Just because they've had a lot of issues with that in the past. So they're trying to reduce third-party and such like that. So yeah, definitely stuff to keep an eye on. The Warhammer-communities.com site is a good resource for all of this.
Age of Sigmar, 40K, everything they do.
I mean, it even has articles on Forge World and specialist games like the new Necromunda, which we almost skipped that. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, that's true.
What happened? What's
The
going
new
on?
Necromunda.
So have you heard of Necromunda?
Is that for Warhammer?
Yeah, it's for
40K.
Warhammer. Basically, it was.
Gang fighting in hive cities.
So it's more of it's more designed for a narrative game, like an RPG setting.
Okay.
But basically, you choose a gang, and you fight it out in an Imperial city in 40K. So you're not playing as Space Marines or Chaos or anything like that. You're playing as people loosely affiliated into a gang based on either ideals or genetics, in the case of like Mulder, who are not Mulder, Goliath, excuse me.
Goliath, all like muscle grown and slapped on people. I mean, they're like what, grown in a vat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take Mad Max and Judge Dredd and mix them together, and that's the game. And it's basically, once again, it's more for like smaller sessions, hanging out with your friends, more of a board game-esque setting than necessarily, I would say, like a
and
tabletop miniature experience.
The things that happen in the game, like you can lose gang members, you can recruit new ones afterwards with your earnings. But what they've spoiled so far is essentially the Femme Fatale gang.
Eshin?
Yeah. Oh, is it Eshin?
I thought, or Escher.
Yeah, I think it was Escher. But they focus on plasma, and like so they're gonna punch through your armor pretty well. And then the other one was just the giant guys that are muscle bound.
So
doofuses.
the Escher are basically designed to do stuff at medium range.
Yeah.
Probably try to stay away from drawn out close combat. Where Goliath is like, nope, we want drawn out close combat because we are giant muscle men and we are going to grind you down.
Face to face. Let's do this. But both models look amazing. I think one of the guys had an axe that had like a mohawk.
Yeah.
It looks freaking really good.
So these models are full of character and all that.
Yeah. It's just like anything Games Workshop really puts out nowadays.
Necromunda was an older specialist game from way back when, and people have loved it. And
people are still playing it.
Yeah, people still play it. Especially people are using the old, or not the old, but the new Shadow Wars rule set for Necromunda and like converting their gangs over to it and things like that. But I think the Shadow Wars was just basically a testing ground for, do you think there's an interest in like, a small scale skirmish narrative game?
Because what they kill team, and they're like, this is
pretty popular.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, let's do Shadow Wars. It's like,
this is even more popular.
I guess what if people want to go back to the gangs?
Yeah.
Like back to Necromunda.
So they did say that they're going to be doing multiple part plastic kits for majority of the gangs. We know the starter box will have Escher and Goliath as the two gangs in that box set starting out. We don't, but that's pretty much all we have. They started production in March, so we don't know how far along that is. We'll keep everyone updated. That's another thing that we'll be taking pre-orders for as soon as we know a release date. Or
I will definitely be partaking.
Yeah, the models are great. I think they mentioned something about even like Xenos gangs being in there. So
I mean,
like,
there's probably going to be a
Gene Stealer cult.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like I would expect to see a Gene Stealer cult gang. That would probably be like the biggest Xenos that I would see. Maybe we'll see the limos back.
Oh God. Well, one thing I hope they did do is balance. Like I never actually got to play more than a game of Necromunda. But because it was definitely way before my time, and I didn't really know how to hop into the games that I saw people play. But one thing I heard that I definitely hope they balance is it was like the Rat People clan. One thing that they could do is they could just have this massive gang. They just taken a lot of people, but whenever it got to the point where you couldn't feed anyone in their gang, you could just like sacrifice one person to do it. So what I think Talia was explaining to me was that he would basically hire a new recruit and be like, "Hi, new recruit, welcome to the gang."
Dead.
Yeah, it's like, and also, "Bye, new recruit, welcome to the gang."
Yeah. So sacrificing the new guy to feed the rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things where the new rules are coming out, so it will be updated rules. They're not just going to repackage the old rules and say, "Hey, have fun."
Especially since that's how many editions ago?
Yeah, God,
like second edition or something.
Yeah. So that's really popular. I'm sure we're going to be having multiple leagues going on for it as soon as it's out. So it's something to get hyped about for sure.
Get hyped.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely keep an eye on that. We'll be updating as soon as Games Workshop updates us on it. We'll hopefully be the source of information for your Necromunda. And with that squeal, Games Workshop is here. Joe, did you want to talk about some board games? Have you seen any new board game news from GenCon?
Let's see here, GenCon. I don't see. Let's see if I can go.
I'm gonna run and get this order, guys.
Other than, let's see. Oh yeah, there is a new game coming out that I think is getting a lot of hype, and that's called, I think, Photosynthesis, which is basically a game about
good one, Calvin.
Yeah, it's a game. Basically, it's a tree growing game, where you have a board and you have every player is responsible for growing trees.
Yeah.
And they get the block of the players. And this is it's in the same spirit, not the same spirit, but it seems like it's getting the same hype as Splendor is.
Okay, yeah,
and yeah, it's Photosynthesis. So I know that's.
I heard Splendor's getting its first expansion too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Splendor is finally getting an expansion. Oh, I hear it focuses more on like the trade guilds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% certain what's going on. I was just told to expect a new expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to focus on the trade guilds, so it's going to be an interesting change to the game, which I enjoy thoroughly.
Well, I think another thing that I'm really looking forward to is the new Ticket to Ride base game, which is Ticket to Ride Germany.
So does it just, I guess, change the map for you? Is that really what it tries to do?
It's a base game like it comes with its own train cars. It comes with its own ticket, of course, ticket. And then it comes with its own color trains, and then it's just basically the map of Germany. Because they had one that was called Ticket to Ride Märklin that had passengers.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it was kind of a unique, kind of a special, release. But this one is another base game that's in Germany, so I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah.
So, but no, I would actually. There's a lot of games coming out. I'm trying to figure out which ones I'm really excited for. So let me see if I can.
Yeah, Jeremy, as far as Red Dragon Inn, I think that'd be a pretty interesting thing to do. Joe streams board games a lot, so maybe we can get that done.
Oh, but they want to do a Red Dragon Inn one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely, I'll do a Red Dragon Inn. I gotta get some players out, but it'd be really fun. I do love the concept of Red Dragon Inn, but that would be a cool drinking game. So, have you played it?
No. What do you do in Red Dragon Inn?
Basically, Red Dragon Inn, the concept is you're basically an RPG party, and you just got done from this big adventure, so you come into a tavern, so you decide to gamble and drink.
Okay, so
the entire game, however, is basically you playing cards. You can pick characters, and you have a existing set of a deck.
Yeah.
And you play these cards, and you're trying to get the other person drunk.
Oh, gotcha.
And so and you have this player board that has these two marker tokens. You have like one is you try and I don't know. The goal is that you want the other players to have those two meet, and once those two things meet, you're out. It's a play elimination game. You're out. You get drunk and you flat out. So it's the last player standing type of thing.
So it's like how drunk you are, how much stamina you have. And once they're both empty, you're out.
You're out. But it's really fun because you force people to basically drink.
Like cheers and everyone drinks or something like that.
It's also fun because you can counter affect people's powers and you think that you drink. It's like no, you drink.
Oh, gotcha.
It's really fun. But they also came out. I think Slugs, the company, also came out with this card game.
Yeah.
That's like poker, but it's basically Red Dragon Inn games. And there's a card in the game where you can say gamble, I'm in, and you can gamble money.
Yeah.
Well, this is another game you can actually play with it. So when you say gamble, I'm in, you can play one of these card games while playing.
So
the other
you
game.
can like stop the game you're playing and play like a mini game.
Yeah.
So it's a mini game in a board game, which I think
exactly. Yeah. And actually, we also got I'll be right back. We also got another game that's a deck builder from the same company.
Cool. So since I'm alone. Hi everyone. I'd like to actually go back on the Slaanesh topic real quick. One of my favorite things. One of my favorite things that you can do actually is the third Slaanesh faction, which is the ones that just want to keep everything status quo. Their ability is to bring 3 generals onto the battlefield. Only one of them can get the general ability, but they can all still use their command ability, which means they can all yell orders to everyone else. But the catch is they have to remain 12 inches apart from each other, or else the rivalry will flare up and they can't use any of their command abilities. So you basically have to keep everyone separate, 12 inches apart on the battlefield, which might be a little more difficult once you get everyone into the grand melee. But so back to board games.
But getting back to the board game, we do have a new game out that's in the universe of Red Dragon Inn. It's called Battle of Greyport. It's a deck builder cooperative game, and you're basically just playing and defending the the town against enemies. And the cool thing about this game is it also includes a new character for one of the Red Dragon Inn base games. And we do have Red Dragon Inn 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I think we got some bonus characters, some expansions, but they sold out right now. So. But yeah.
We're going to be getting a restock.
Yeah, we'll get a restock.
Yeah, we'll get stuck. So yeah, but also there's a lot of news out there. Trial Imperium 4 releases. Plaid House Gamers. Let's see here. Pansy Flight. Let's see. No, that's like a lot of news coming out here. So, but oh jeez, the Fallout miniatures game is coming out.
Do you know when it's gonna release?
No, I don't know when it's gonna release, but I know my two brothers are very excited about it. I mean, there's so many things coming out. I just can't keep up with all this stuff.
If we get it, I'll try to see if we can get Nuka-Cola in stock.
Yeah, new Time Story.
Good thing to drink while playing Fallout 4.
Absolutely.
Fallout, sorry.
But no, there's a lot of things coming out. Well, I'm really excited about the new Star Realm expansions that just got kickstarted.
Yeah, I saw about that.
Yeah, I mean, they basically now they have. I mean, I know Hero Realms have these character packs where each player gets to start with their own character, like the cleric, like the wizard, and I think Star Realms Star Realms Frontier, the Kickstarter came out with their own character packs.
So own version of that.
Yeah, it's called Commander Packs.
Oh, nice.
So it's coming out. So that's gonna be exciting.
So,
that's gonna be new.
John, you know if that's the one Emily's gonna have a character for?
I don't think it's that one. I think she's going to be a hero.
Okay.
Or pilot.
Yeah. So one of our patrons here, Emily Sampson, won DragonCon's Star Realms tournament last year, and with that, she got to have a card made in her image.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that was fun. I mean, I don't know what faction did you choose? Did you choose Machine Code or Trade Federation or Empire? Empire.
I think she's trying to be both.
Oh yeah, because they do have the
combined one. Yeah,
the combined thing.
All right, guys. So as you saw, I had to leave just for a little bit to get the new Games Workshop order. So we have Saturday's releases here. So we're going to go through these just really quick while we have everyone's attention. I'm going to give these to Mark. So we got the Interceptor box in. These are the Primaris Marines that are
flying.
Yes, equipped with jetpacks and dual pistols. So this kit, you can make them either with the traditional bolt pistol or like...
Or the
heavy
plasma.
bolt pistol, I think it's called.
So
what's it called?
There's the assault bolter.
Assault bolter. There you go.
Yeah, that's a 18-inch range assault weapon. So you can move your full speed or you can advance with it. So you can roll a d6, move your speed plus that, and still shoot with it.
Yeah.
So and it has the same stat line as a heavy bolter. So it shoots 3 times. It's -1 to the armor, and it's strength 5.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But these guys are not the most durable. They're just still basic Primaris Marines, so you're gonna have to protect them if you really want them to do any damage. But you also have the option for plasma.
Yeah, the plasma stuff looks really cool. Yeah. And also, they finally have the blast shields option with them, so you can put a protective helmet over them to keep them safe on their way dropping in. Second new release we have is the Ultramarines Primaris upgrade pack. So this is really important for one particular reason above all else. So your Primaris sergeants, the guys leading the unit, have the option of taking a power sword.
Oh yeah.
You know what's not included in the box?
A power sword.
A power sword. So
what?
So with the Primaris upgrades, upgrade kits, you're going to get it looks like 9 shoulder pads available for you to upgrade your Primaris squads, and you have 3 for the intercessors, or sorry, you have 6 for the intercessors, and then you have 3 for either aggressors or it looks like interceptors as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to upgrade your guys and keep them fancy. You have new helms, you have new sword arms, you have sheaths and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really good buy. It looks really, really cool. So if you guys are playing Ultramarines, definitely check it out.
And we also got some new dice. I want these dice.
Yeah. So we got the Adeptus Astartes dice in from Games Workshop, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Comes with 4 colors in the dice pack. There's red, blue, white, and black.
Yeah, it's great for that myriad of weappery from your squad. So you can like red dice are plasma, white dice are bolters, and yada yada.
And it includes different faction symbols. It also includes different like ranks and positions. Like there's a apothecary symbol. There's one for why the machine guys?
Oh, the Adeptus Mechanicus?
The tech guys.
Oh, gotcha.
Why am I forgetting their name?
Tech priests?
No. No, they don't have Tech Priests and Space Marines.
Tech Marine?
Yes, Tech Marines. Thank you.
I was like,
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That's amazing. You just take Tech and Marine. You make one. Whoa.
I was like, no, it can't be that simple.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's Tech Marines, but yeah, so they're a good pickup if you guys play Marines at all. Like Mark said, the 4 different colors is absolutely fantastic, especially if you have different weapons in the squad, or different hit rolls and things like that.
I just want this for all my other board games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is. I mean, look at that. I love that design. I love the outline because they have the the pits here, but if you can see, they also have these lines here that kind of represents. I guess what is that? I don't know
what is it now.
Well, you just look at it. And
like the vent lines.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, it's just like a cargo crate. It has the
cargo crate. Yeah, exactly.
But I would like it for War Machine Hordes mainly just for like you have the different colors for column.
Exactly. Yeah.
Usually you want to roll an off-color dice to represent something else.
So probably like most of Games Workshop's dice, these will be available for a limited time. So if you guys are interested at all, just let us know. We'll put them aside for you.
What these right here?
These. So the next thing are my personal favorite. From this release wave, things that I'll probably buy way too much of. 3 new basing kits. We have skulls,
340 skulls,
creeping vines, and barbed bracken. So if you guys play any Games Workshop faction, you can get the skulls, and you can either decorate your models. They can be holding skulls, they can be sitting on top of skulls, they can have skulls socketed on their base. It's a really good kit to get. Just basically to add some more character to your guys, or even for basing, like it's
or terrain.
Yeah, basing, terrain, anything that you want to make. The barbed bracken and the creeping vines are great for guys in jungle. So your Catachin, Seraphon, or any other miniatures. Like so, they're designed. The skulls. So the cool thing about the skulls is that they have a lot of races represented in the skulls. There's Tau skulls, Orc skulls,
Tyranid
skulls, Beastmen skulls.
Which is one thing I always found frustrating as someone who supports humans, as I mentioned earlier, is that every single skull was always a human skull. It's always a human skull. It's like, can you kill something that isn't human? You can have an Orc skull. You can have like just a beast skull. It just everything was always a human skull. Even humans wore human skulls. It was pretty upsetting.
My favorite thing is that there's bird skulls in there as well. So if you guys buy that kit and you're not going to use those bird skulls, come find me. I'll buy them off you. I'm always going to need more bird stuff. But yeah, so all 3 of these are $25. Like we said, the skull kit comes with 340 skulls. That is an insane amount.
I didn't think they could fit that in that box, but they do.
Yeah. The vines come with 12 vines, but these vines are gigantic. You can cut them. They're also even bendable. Like they're designed with the ability. Plastic? Yeah. Basically with the idea in mind that they're going to wrap around stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
And even if you don't bend them or they're not as bendy as you need them, hit them with a hairdryer or dip them in hot water to get them to bend how you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a million ways that I can think of to use these to mod models or build terrain and things like that. I've really wanted to make a Jungle Ruin terrain set for a while, and with both the barbed bracken and the creeping vine set, plus the skulls, it'll be really easy to do. Get some foam, get those kits. I'll throw it together and it'll be great. So I'm going to start working on that Temple City that I've wanted to do that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
That might exist again at some point whenever Seraphon gets an update. So yeah, guys, I think that has put us.
We're right there. We have like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I think we're going to call it. Joe, do you have anything else to add?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm just really excited about all the GenCon releases coming out. Yeah. I mean, all those that coming. There's so much that it's hard to keep track of it all.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy. Hopefully, I'll get the Frightmare from GenCon. So that's a model that's going to be released later next month. But for the League we're doing right now, it's a model in my army, so I would like to not proxy it. And have a legitimate Frightmare. Which, for those of you who don't know what it is a creepy like horse
spitting up a face.
Spitting out like a goblin, spitting out a human face. So it's just like a triple-faced horse beast that spits acid.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing to add is that with GenCon wrapping up this weekend, DragonCon is coming up soon.
Yeah.
And me, Mark, and a lot of the Gigabyte staff will be there as volunteers doing demos of 40K for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So if you guys are going to DragonCon, come check us out. We're going to be in the board gaming section, or miniature gaming section now.
Is that still in America's Mart?
I think so. I think so. I think we might be in a different building in America's Mart, but we're going to be in America's Mart.
All right.
And if you want, you can stop by Gigabytes and get some Dragon Breath to keep with the
Oh,
theme.
yeah.
Dragon's
Yeah.
Breath.
So we'll be down there. So if you're DragonCon, check us out. If not, if you're here for DragonCon weekend, it's a lot of fun at Gigabyte's DragonCon weekend because we're going to be doing some events and things like that, especially since it should be a little bit quieter. So probably going to be doing some fun stuff here at the store during DragonCon weekend.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I mean, just so hopefully it'll be like, really, really packed out. So
keep an eye on that. And then with DragonCon and GenCon going on right now, we have our sweepstakes coming up for our 10th birthday.
Yeah.
So
happy birthday, us.
Yeah. We've been around for 10 years, which is huge for us, huge for game stores, and huge for you guys. So we're going to be having a 10th birthday party coming up in October. But leading up to that, we're doing this raffle to where if you buy a piece of Giga Swag, and that could be any one of our shirts that we have up there, or have had up there, or our bags or any of the other swag, and you get a photo of yourself with that at a convention or some sort of miniature event, basically anywhere outside of the store, you buy it, take a photo with it, tag us in the post, you'll be entered into a raffle for $500 store credit. That's enough to start a new army.
Yeah.
Buy as much food. You could buy around for the house. So with that,
right.
So go to giga-swag.com to find our T-shirts and other things that you can buy for it. Get it in now. You guys have plenty of time to hit up other events or conventions and tag us in posts to get entered into it. It'll be a fun raffle. I'm looking forward to seeing how creative people get with it. So definitely check that out. We have our limited edition shirt design that Mark Schubach himself started.
So yeah, if you've seen the motto of Games Workshop, it is what collect, build, paint, play. So totally scratched out the paint part and wrote in sometimes prime, because that seems to be the motto of a lot of people, is to build their armies, prime it, and then play with it.
Yeah. All at Gigabytes. So that is limited. That will only be up here for the month of August. We're going to be having a new design for September. So once again, get your swag. It's super easy. You can order it through gigaswag.com. And then pick it up at the store a little bit later from there.
Yeah, and if you have an idea for a T-shirt, let us know.
Yeah.
We're always looking for people with great ideas for a shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't he a bit short for a stormtrooper? No,
that's actually a good design. Giga guy in a
stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah.
If we can get the trademark, I don't think we can do that though. Can we?
Well, so one parody covers a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And also you can have them in a stormtrooper-esque outfit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I think we have a couple of different artists working on their own designs for Gigabytes or GigaSwag, so you'll be seeing some new designs outside of store employees hopefully sometime soon. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us. I think we're
at our hour, basically.
Thank you guys so much for coming by. David Finn wasn't here. He's back from vacation, but his heart is still there.
Yeah. He'll be back on vacation next week, guys.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So we'll see you guys next week on Giga Rambles, but hopefully sooner than that here in the store. So until then, I'm John.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Joseph.
Yeah, cool.
All right, bye.
Hope to see you soon.
Goodbye now.